the first tractor you remember?
First tractor I remember were Ford 8N tractors that my father had. That was a very common tractor. There were always Ford people and John Deere people. A lot of people were into John Deere's. My father was into the Fords. So we had Ford 8N, and I still have a Ford 8N tractor that my father gave me, and I'm still using.
Tell me about how you farm today.
Right now we're farming with tractors. It's called a small truck farm. We have machinery. We have a lot more machinery now, but in my grandfather's day it was horses. My grandfather came in 1905 with his brother, immigrants from the Azores, and my grandfather's brother had a farm in Seekonk, and my grandfather had a farm on Brook Street in Rehoboth. And it was all, in those days, it was horses, still horses and wagons. It was still the turn of the century, and everybody farmed with horses and wagons at that time. Then we went to, he was pretty progressive, and when tractors came along and when trucks came along, they were, well, some of the first to have them, and that's the way they were essentially organic farmers back then. Everything was organic back then. And then it went to conventional.
Tell me the history of the land that you farmed.
Oh, that's what I was saying. It's the land that we farmed. It was in Brook Street and Water Street, essentially that area. And my grandfather also, he rented parcels. He had his own land that he owned, and he also rented parcels too. Down in Peckham, on Peckham Street and Mason Street. And that's pretty much, it's changed hands. My father, when he came into farming, he'd worked for what's now Crestwood Country Club. It used to be the Aldrich Farm. I think Frank DeMatz has done a big story on that. He was a very wealthy gentleman farmer, and with my father we lived on Water Street, and when he was younger and I was just a little kid, he'd go work on that farm by tractor, and that was an international tractor. And I was just really a young kid, and I can remember him taking me down there to milk the cows and to see the cows. And in front of Crestwood Country Club, what's now Crestwood Country Club, where the tennis courts used to be or are, there used to be the 2 bull pens for this gentleman farmer, where he'd keep his prize bulls, his breeding stock, so that everybody could see. And these cows were absolutely immaculate. There was never a speck of mud or dirt on them or whatever. They were kept like, like pets. They were just beautiful. They had a lot of money, so we could put a lot of money into farming. My uncle said, "There's a lot of money in farming." I know, I put it there. And that's the way it was. And my father worked for them, and he also rented land, and he started his own farming operation on Water Street. Now my brother owns that land now on Water Street. I keep going on and on. I have so much. There's so much I can say. But so that was that. My grandfather's generation, my father's generation. There were 4 brothers in the family. There were 10 in the family altogether. 5 brothers, counting the adopted brother, and they all got involved in farming. They were all involved in farming at one time. One of them moved away to Swansea and got into contracting instead, but he had farmed for a while. And my uncle Manuel, who just lived up the street from us at Water Street and Reed Street, bought a existing market that had been there for years. It had a post office in the market for the people that lived in South Rehoboth. People could go there to this, it's like a general store. It was owned by an Armenian family. He bought it, and they slowly started transforming the store. And in the 50s, he made the first. There's an ongoing between the DeMatz family and the Santos family who had the first supermarket. But the idea for a supermarket, in the old days, there was general store where you came into the store and you asked people to get something for you when they went into the store and got it and brought it back. The supermarket concept was where you had aisles and you actually took a cart and you went down the aisles like we do today, and then you bring it to the cashier. That was a new concept back then. There were two stores. One was on 44 DeMott's supermarket, and the other one was the Santos supermarket. And back then, there was my generation was weaned on TV. We were the TV generation. There was Hopalong Cassidy. There was a very popular cowboy television program. And Bond Bread was a baker that was the sponsor for this program. And so when my uncle opened the store, they brought his foreman, you know, make believe, but his foreman of the Hopalong Cassidy to open the store as a store opening kind of a thing. They had pamphlets and they sent it out and everything else. So it was a very interesting thing because they, again, were from a farm family. They were into farming. They were still doing farming. But then they started this store and it turned into a supermarket. It ran as a store for many, many years. It's since been knocked down. And a piece of history is gone. And there's 5 houses on that plot that used to be there. And like I say, my other uncle became a contractor, and his son became the principal of Case High School. And they also from farming background. I was just trying to show what happened with some of the farming, because you will see in the interview I'm sure you've already seen in other interviews what's happened to farming in this town, what it used to be and what it is now. Go ahead. I got some.
What were you farming, or what are you farming?
Right now, I've really cut down the amount of vegetables that I'm farming. I've done peppers, tomatoes, eggplant. Oh, it's all vegetables. No animals. Never had animals. Had peppers, tomatoes, eggplant, summer squash, butternut squash. I've done just about everything at one time, and I'm just down to lettuce and butternut squash now. That's all I'm farming now.
And what was mostly sold in the supermarket?
The supermarket back then, my uncle's supermarket, was just everything that they sell today, pretty much. Yeah, it was. It's pretty much, like I said, it was a new concept. It was a new kind of a thing. But I might as well, while I'm on that subject, and get this stuff out of the way, and then somehow it'll fall into place, I guess. When like I say, when my grandfather and his brother came to this town, they settled in this town. There were a lot of Azorean Portuguese at that time that were coming and settling in this town. And they had 2 pretty large farms, and it was all horse and wagon. And that's how you transported your crops to market, by horse and wagon. And my family sold in Providence. And where the Rhode Island School, you may have heard of the Rhode Island School of Design. Well, my grandfather used to drive his wagon down there and sell his goods off the wagon there, right by where the Rhode Island School of Design is now. And all the farmers did. What they did was, in those days, it took a long time to travel. It's only, 9 miles from Providence, but in those days, by horse and wagon, it took a long time to do. It wasn't 10 minutes like it is now. They used to have to wake up. They had a decent-sized house, but all the bedrooms were upstairs. They'd go up and wake up one of the brothers. There were 4 brothers at that time. And 2 o'clock in the morning. The night before, they had been up packing beets, carrots, different kinds of things that take a lot of manual labor, rear ribs, onions, scallions you call it, and packing all those types of things, washing them, putting them on the wagon. They'd be all done that night before, maybe by the lights until 9, 10 o'clock at night, working out in the garage. Then they'd hook the team up, 2 o'clock in the morning, hook the team of horses up, and take the vegetables to market. It took a while to get down. They were trying to get down there, 4 o'clock, 4:30 or so. Be set up by 5 o'clock in the morning to be there for the buyers that would come to the market.